In the summer of 2025, astronomers detected something unprecedented crossing our solar system. A visitor from beyond, traveling through the cosmic void for potentially 10 billion years, carrying with it secrets from the ancient galaxy. They named it Three-Eyed Atlas, the third confirmed interstellar object ever observed by humanity. But the name itself holds a mystery that reaches far deeper than modern science, connecting to forgotten truths that pagan cultures whispered about for thousands of years. This is not just the story of a comet. This is the story of how ancient wisdom encoded celestial prophecies into myth, ritual, and sacred texts, waiting for the moment when the cosmos would reveal its hidden messengers once again. The designation Atlas comes from the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, the scientific survey that first spotted this enigmatic traveler on July 1st, 2025. But to those who understand the hidden layers of ancient symbolism, the name carries profound significance. Atlas, in Greek mythology, was a primordial titan condemned to hold the celestial spheres upon his shoulders for eternity. He was the bearer of cosmic burden, the guardian positioned at the edge of the known world, separating mortal existence from the realm of gods and stars. Ancient pagan traditions across Mediterranean, Near Eastern, and even Indo-European cultures preserved stories of cosmic pillars, world bearers, and celestial guardians whose role was to maintain the boundary between earth and the heavens. When we examine the mythological role of Atlas more carefully, we discover that he was not merely a punished rebel. In earlier pre-Hellenic traditions, Atlas was associated with astronomical knowledge, celestial navigation, and the movements of wandering stars. The Greek historian Diodorus Siculus, writing in the 1st century BCE, claimed that Atlas was the first to reveal the spherical nature of celestial bodies and taught humanity about the ordered movements of stars. He was credited with inventing the celestial sphere itself, that ancient astronomical instrument used to map the heavens. In this context, Atlas becomes not just a symbol of burden, but a symbol of cosmic revelation, the one who unveiled hidden celestial truths to humanity. Ancient pagan cultures understood that the sky was not empty, but filled with messengers and omens. Comets, in particular, occupied a special place in the cosmological frameworks of Babylonian, Egyptian, Celtic, Maya, and Chinese civilizations. These were not random chunks of ice and rock, as modern materialist science might reduce them to. They were understood as harbingers, as cosmic travelers carrying messages between worlds, as breaches in the normal order that revealed something about divine intention or cosmic cycles. The appearance of a comet was never accidental. It was timed, purposeful, and deeply significant. The Babylonians, whose astronomical records stretch back nearly 4,000 years, maintained detailed observations of celestial phenomena, including comets. Their cuneiform tablets reveal sophisticated tracking systems and interpretive frameworks. In Babylonian cosmology, comets were often associated with transitions between cosmic ages, the movements of gods, or the fates of kings and nations. They understood that certain celestial events repeated in predictable cycles, while others arrived unexpectedly from beyond the known celestial order. These unexpected visitors were considered especially powerful, as they came from outside the established cosmic structure, from regions beyond human knowledge. Egyptian temple astronomy, preserved in texts like the Cairo calendar and various astronomical sealings and tombs and temples, demonstrates an equally sophisticated understanding of celestial patterns. The Egyptians associated certain celestial phenomena with specific deities. Comets and unusual celestial appearances were often linked to transformations of consciousness, initiations into mystery traditions, in moments when the boundary between the mortal world and the realm of the Neteru, the divine principles, became permeable. The appearance of an object moving contrary to the fixed patterns of stars was seen as a manifestation of cosmic will penetrating into material reality. Celtic Druidic traditions, though less preserved due to their oral nature, also maintained deep astronomical knowledge. Celtic festival cycles were precisely timed to solar and lunar patterns, and their sacred sites demonstrate sophisticated astronomical alignments. Classical authors like Julius Caesar and Strabo noted that Druids possessed extensive knowledge of natural philosophy and celestial movements. In Celtic cosmology, the boundary between worlds was understood as fluid, and certain times and celestial events could open pathways between the realm of mortals and the other world. Comets and celestial anomalies were interpreted as signs of such openings, moments when the hidden structure of reality became briefly visible. What modern astronomy now tells us about three-eyed Atlas adds another layer to this ancient symbolic framework. This object did not originate in our solar system. It traveled through interstellar space for billions of years, possibly longer than our own sun has existed. According to current scientific estimates, three-eyed Atlas may have originated from the thick disk of the Milky Way, a region populated by older stars, suggesting the comet itself could be at least 7 billion years old, predating our entire solar system. It is, quite literally, a messenger from beyond, from the ancient galaxy, carrying within its frozen composition a record of cosmic conditions that existed before Earth was born. The timing of its discovery also carries symbolic weight. In an era when humanity faces unprecedented existential questions about our place in the cosmos, about the possibility of life beyond Earth, about the meaning and purpose of consciousness in an apparently vast and indifferent universe, an ancient visitor arrives from the depths of space. It passes through our solar system, observable for a brief window of time, then continues its eternal journey back into the darkness beyond. Ancient pagan traditions would have recognized this pattern immediately. The appearance of the messenger, the brief window of revelation, and the return to mystery. This is the structure of initiation, of prophetic vision, of cosmic teaching. The name Atlas, then, becomes more than coincidental. It becomes symbolic of what this object represents: the revelation of cosmic structure, the messenger from beyond the known boundaries, the carrier of ancient knowledge from the edge of space and time. Just as the Titan Atlas held the weight of the heavens and possessed knowledge of celestial movements, this cosmic traveler, named after him, carries the memory of the ancient galaxy of stellar generations that lived and died billions of years before our world existed. It arrives as a fulfilling an ancient prophetic pattern, one that pagan cultures recognized and encoded into their sacred traditions, waiting for the moment when humanity would have the tools to perceive what was always there, hidden in the darkness, waiting to reveal itself. Ancient pagan traditions across the world developed remarkably similar symbolic frameworks for understanding comets and celestial visitors, despite geographical and cultural separation. This convergence suggests something deeper than coincidence, a shared human recognition that certain patterns in the cosmos carry meaning, that the universe itself communicates through symbols written in light and motion across the darkness of space. When we examine how different pagan cultures interpreted cometary phenomena, we begin to see a consistent mythological structure emerge, one that appears almost prophetic when applied to the mysterious nature of three-eyed Atlas and its journey through our solar system. In ancient Chinese astronomical tradition, comets were classified into numerous categories based on their appearance, trajectory, and behavior. The celestial archives maintained by imperial astronomers contain records spanning more than 3,000 years, making them among the most complete astronomical databases from the ancient world. Chinese cosmology understood the heavens as a reflection of earthly order, but also recognized that certain celestial events transcended normal patterns. Comets that appeared unexpectedly, moved in unusual directions, or displayed anomalous characteristics were interpreted as messages from the supreme cosmic order, often signaling major transitions in the mandate of heaven. The philosophical principle that legitimized dynastic authority through alignment with cosmic will What makes the Chinese framework particularly relevant is their recognition of different types of celestial visitors. Some comets followed predictable cycles and were understood as part of the normal celestial mechanism, but others arrived from beyond the known celestial sphere, from regions the Chinese astronomers called the outer darkness. These visitors from beyond were treated as fundamentally different from periodic comets. They were understood as emissaries from the primordial void, carrying messages about cosmic cycles far larger than human history. The appearance of such an object was considered a moment when the boundary between the manifest cosmos and the infinite potential of the Tao became permeable, allowing hidden truths to flow into the visible world. This distinction between periodic and non-periodic celestial visitors mirrors exactly what modern astronomy has discovered about interstellar objects. Our solar system contains countless comets and asteroids that orbit the sun in predictable patterns, remnants from the formation of our planetary system 4.5 billion years ago. But interstellar visitors like 3I Atlas represent something categorically different. They are not bound to our sun. They travel through the galaxy independently, following trajectories shaped by the gravitational architecture of the entire Milky Way. They have no loyalty to our solar system, no periodic return, no predictable cycle. They arrive from the depths of space, pass through our region of the galaxy, and disappear back into the cosmic ocean, never to return. The ancient Maya civilization developed one of the most sophisticated astronomical systems in human history, tracking celestial cycles with extraordinary precision without telescopes or mechanical instruments. Maya astronomers could predict eclipses centuries in advance, calculated the synodic period of Venus to within hours of modern measurements, and maintained calendrical systems that integrated multiple overlapping cosmic cycles spanning thousands of years. Within this framework, comets occupied a special symbolic position. They were associated with transitions between calendar cycles, with the death and rebirth of cosmic ages, and with moments when the gods themselves moved through the visible world. Maya cosmology understood time as cyclical rather than linear, with history repeating in grand cosmic patterns. Within these cycles, certain events served as markers, as moments when one age ended and another began. The appearance of celestial visitors, especially those arriving from beyond the known celestial order, was interpreted as a sign that the cosmic machinery was transitioning between states, that the current age was approaching its transformation point. This was not understood as apocalyptic destruction, but as necessary cosmic renewal, the death that precedes rebirth, the dissolution that allows new patterns to emerge from primordial potential. The Norse and Germanic pagan traditions, preserved in texts like the Eddas and in archaeological evidence from across northern Europe, maintained their own cosmological framework, centered on Yggdrasil, the world tree that connected all realms of existence. In this cosmology, the cosmos was not static but dynamic, constantly engaged in the tension between order and chaos, between the structured realms maintained by the gods and the primordial forces of dissolution pressing against the boundaries. Celestial phenomena that disrupted normal patterns were understood as manifestations of this cosmic tension, as moments when the forces beyond the ordered world became visible. Within Norse mythology, we find the concept of messengers traveling between worlds. The god Odin himself was described as a wanderer, moving through different realms seeking knowledge, sacrificing comfort and safety for wisdom and understanding. He hung upon Yggdrasil for 9 nights, pierced by his own spear, to gain knowledge of the runes, the fundamental symbolic patterns underlying reality. The figure of the wandering seeker, the traveler from beyond who carries hidden knowledge, appears repeatedly in Germanic pagan tradition. When we consider 3i Atlas as a cosmic wanderer, traveling through the galaxy for billions of years, passing briefly through our realm before continuing its eternal journey, the archetypal parallel becomes striking. The Greek mystery traditions, particularly those centered at Eleusis, Delphi, and other sacred sites throughout the Hellenic world taught that visible reality was a reflection of hidden cosmic patterns. The mysteries were initiatory experiences that revealed deeper layers of meaning beneath the surface of existence. Central to these traditions was the understanding that certain moments in time created opportunities for revelation, moments when the boundary between the visible and invisible worlds became thin, allowing initiates to perceive truths normally hidden from human consciousness. Celestial events, particularly unusual or unprecedented phenomena, were understood as such moments, as breaches in the normal veil of perception. The Pythagorean school, which combined mathematical philosophy with mystical cosmology, taught that the cosmos was fundamentally structured by number, ratio, and harmonic relationship. But they also recognized that certain events transcended predictable mathematical patterns, representing what they called the divine irrationality, moments when the cosmos expressed something beyond calculable order. The appearance of celestial visitors that followed trajectories not bound by solar orbital mechanics would have been recognized by Pythagorean philosophers as precisely such moments, as manifestations of cosmic principles operating at scales beyond terrestrial comprehension. When we examine the actual characteristics of three-eyed Atlas through this symbolic lens, the mythological frameworks become even more resonant. This object exhibits behaviors that challenged scientific expectations. Initially, astronomers noticed it was releasing unusual amounts of material for its distance from the sun, creating a massive coma and tail far larger than anticipated. In October 2025, scientists detected radio emissions from the comet using the Very Large Array Telescope in New Mexico, marking the first time radio signals have ever been detected from an interstellar object. This was unprecedented, unexpected, anomalous in the most literal sense. Ancient pagan interpretations would recognize these characteristics as symbolically significant. The comet announced itself, made itself visible through means beyond normal expectations, communicated across the electromagnetic spectrum in ways never before observed. It demonstrated agency, in a sense, revealing itself to human observation through multiple modalities. This pattern of revelation, of progressive unveiling of hidden characteristics, mirrors the structure of mystery initiation, where deeper truths are revealed in stages as the initiate proves ready to receive them. The Roman historian Pliny the Elder, in his Natural History, compiled ancient observations and interpretations of comets, noting that different cultures understood these objects as having distinct natures and purposes. Some comets were understood as warning signs, others as harbingers of change, still others as teachers or revelatory agents. What united these interpretations was the recognition that comets were not passive objects, but active participants in cosmic communication, that they appeared with purpose and meaning, that their arrival signified something beyond mere physical coincidence. In Hermetic philosophy, which synthesized Greek, Egyptian, and Near Eastern mystical traditions, the principle of correspondence held that patterns at one level of reality reflected patterns at other levels. As above, so below. As the famous axiom stated, celestial events were understood as macrocosmic expressions of principles that also operated at human and even personal scales. The appearance of a visitor from beyond the solar system could be interpreted as a cosmic scale metaphor for the arrival of knowledge from beyond normal human consciousness, for breakthrough insights that come not from incremental reasoning, but from sudden contact with truths that existed outside our previous framework of understanding. The Gnostic traditions, though later suppressed by institutional Christianity, preserved ancient pagan wisdom teachings about the relationship between matter, consciousness, and cosmic structure. Gnostic cosmology taught that the visible material world was embedded within larger, invisible cosmic architectures, and that certain events could reveal the existence of these hidden structures to those capable of perceiving symbolically. the arrival of an object from interstellar space from beyond the boundaries of our solar system, from regions of the galaxy billions of years older than our world, would be recognized immediately as a manifestation of these larger cosmic structures, as physical evidence that our local solar system is merely a small province within a galaxy-scale architecture of unimaginable age and complexity. What emerges from this cross-cultural examination is a consistent mythological pattern. The cosmic messenger from beyond, the visitor from outside normal boundaries, the revealer of hidden cosmic structure, the wanderer who passes through briefly before returning to mystery. This pattern was not invented by any single culture, but discovered independently by multiple civilizations who observed the sky carefully and thought deeply about the meaning of celestial phenomena. They recognized something that modern scientific materialism sometimes overlooks: that the cosmos is not merely a collection of physical objects following mechanical laws, but a meaningful reality in which patterns at different scales reflect deeper organizing principles. The ancient pagan truth they preserved was not superstition, but sophisticated symbolic thinking about humanity's relationship to the larger cosmos we inhabit. The concept of cosmic cycles appears in virtually every ancient pagan tradition, suggesting a fundamental insight into the nature of time and celestial mechanics that transcended cultural boundaries. Unlike the linear conception of time that dominates modern Western thought, ancient cultures understood temporal reality as cyclical, repetitive, and nested within larger patterns that could span thousands or even millions of years. Within these cosmological frameworks, certain celestial events served as markers, as turning points that signaled transitions between ages, epochs, or cosmic states. The appearance of unprecedented celestial visitors was understood not as random occurrence, but as fulfillment of cyclical patterns operating at scales beyond normal human perception. The Vedic traditions of ancient India developed perhaps the most elaborate cyclical cosmology in human history, describing nested cycles of cosmic time called yugas, manvantaras, and kalpas that extended across billions of years. According to Vedic astronomy and cosmology, the universe moved through great ages characterized by different levels of cosmic order and different relationships between the material and spiritual dimensions of reality. Within this framework, certain celestial events mark transitions between yugas, serving as visible signs that the cosmic clock was advancing, that one age was ending and another beginning. These transition markers were not always gradual or predictable, but could arrive suddenly from beyond the normal celestial order, as manifestations of the larger cyclical machinery at work. What makes the Vedic framework particularly striking is its recognition that cosmic cycles operated at multiple scales simultaneously, just as a clock has seconds, minutes, and hours all turning at different speeds while remaining mechanically connected. Vedic cosmology understood that cosmic time involved nested cycles of different magnitudes, all interconnected and all influencing each other. The appearance of a celestial visitor from beyond the solar system, from regions of space billions of years older than our planetary system, could be interpreted within this framework as a manifestation of the largest scale cycles, as evidence of cosmic timekeeping mechanisms operating at galactic rather than merely planetary or solar scales. The ancient Zoroastrian tradition, which influenced both Eastern and Western religious and philosophical thought, taught a cosmology of cosmic struggle between order and chaos, between the creative principle of Ahura Mazda and the destructive principle of Angra Mainyu. But this struggle was not eternal or static. Zoroastrian eschatology described a cosmic timeline with distinct phases, leading ultimately toward a final transformation called the Frashakareti, the making wonderful, when the cosmos would be renewed and perfected. Within this timeline, certain events served as signs that the cosmic drama was progressing according to divine plan, that history was moving toward its destined transformation point. Zoroastrian astronomical texts preserved in Pahlavi sources, demonstrate sophisticated knowledge of celestial cycles and planetary movements. The priests maintained observational records and understood that certain celestial phenomena occurred according to predictable patterns, while others arrived unexpectedly, representing what they interpreted as direct intervention of cosmic forces into the visible world. The appearance of unusual celestial objects, particularly those exhibiting unprecedented characteristics or arriving from unknown origins, was interpreted as one of the signs that the cosmic timeline was advancing, that the transformation of ages was approaching. The Celtic calendar system, though less completely preserved than Eastern traditions due to the disruption of Druidic culture during Roman conquest and Christian conversion, nevertheless reveals sophisticated understanding of cosmic cycles. The Coligny calendar, a bronze artifact from Gaul dating to the 2nd century CE, but preserving much older astronomical knowledge, demonstrates a complex lunisolar system integrating multiple overlapping cycles. Celtic cosmology understood time as spiral rather than purely circular, with each cycle returning to similar but not identical conditions, creating an evolutionary pattern across cosmic ages. Within Celtic mythology, we find repeated references to cyclical returns, to figures and events that manifest across different ages in new forms, while maintaining essential patterns. The concept of the otherworld in Celtic tradition was not simply a spatial location, but also a temporal one, representing both a realm beyond normal space and a state of time outside normal chronology. Certain moments and certain events could create bridges between normal time and this timeless otherworld, allowing influences from beyond temporal boundaries to manifest in the present. The appearance of unprecedented celestial phenomena was understood as precisely such a moment, as a breach in normal time that allowed the eternal patterns to become briefly visible. The Mayan long count calendar, which measured time from a mythological creation date, in 3114 BCE organized cosmic time into nested cycles of increasing magnitude, kin days, months, ton years, Catan periods of approximately 20 years, and Bactan cycles of approximately 400 years. The completion of major cycles, particularly the 13 Bactan period that concluded in 2012 CE, was understood as marking significant cosmic transitions. But Maya cosmology also recognized that certain events could occur between cycles, during liminal periods when one age was ending but the next had not fully begun. Moments of cosmic uncertainty when unprecedented phenomena could manifest. Maya astronomical texts, particularly those preserved in the Dresden Codex, reveal incredibly precise tracking of Venus, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and various stellar patterns. The Maya understood that celestial mechanics operated according to interlocking cycles of different periods, creating complex patterns of conjunction, opposition, and alignment that repeated across centuries. But they also recognized anomalies, celestial events that occurred outside predictable cycles, and these anomalies were interpreted as especially significant, as messages from the gods about transformations occurring at cosmic scales beyond normal. Calendrical prediction. The concept of the great year appears in multiple ancient traditions, from Greece to Persia to India, describing a massive cosmic cycle during which all celestial bodies return to their original positions relative to each other. Different traditions calculated different lengths for this cycle, ranging from approximately 26,000 years in Greek calculations, based on the precession of the equinoxes, to far larger periods in Eastern cosmologies, but all agreed that the great year represented a fundamental unit of cosmic time, and that its completion marked the total renewal of the cosmos, a return to primordial conditions from which a new cycle could begin. Plato's dialogue Timaeus describes this concept philosophically, suggesting that the cosmos itself was created as a moving image of eternity, with time itself being a cyclical phenomenon generated by the revolution of celestial bodies. Within this framework, the appearance of celestial visitors from beyond the normal planetary order could be understood as manifestations of the larger machinery of the Great Year, as evidence that cosmic time was advancing according to principles operating at scales beyond human historical consciousness. The ancient Babylonian astronomical tradition, which influenced Greek, Persian, and eventually European astronomy, maintained detailed records of celestial phenomena for astrological and calendrical purposes. Babylonian astronomy recognized different categories of celestial objects and understood that some phenomena repeated in predictable cycles while others appeared unexpectedly. The appearance of new stars, unusual comets, or other anomalous celestial events was recorded carefully and interpreted within a framework of cosmic omens, signs that the gods were communicating information about the unfolding of cosmic and terrestrial events. What makes the Babylonian framework particularly sophisticated is its recognition of nested periodicities. Babylonian astronomers discovered the Saros cycle, an approximately 18-year period after which eclipses repeat in similar patterns. They calculated accurate synodic periods for all visible planets and developed mathematical techniques for predicting celestial positions centuries in advance. But they also recognized that some events occurred outside these predictable patterns, representing what they understood as direct divine intervention. Moments when the gods chose to manifest signs that transcended ordinary celestial mechanics. When we examine 3i ATLAS within these ancient cyclical frameworks, its appearance takes on layered significance. This object has been traveling through space for billions of years, predating our entire solar system. Its trajectory was shaped by the gravitational architecture of the Milky Way galaxy over cosmic time scales that dwarf human history. It encountered our solar system at this particular moment in cosmic time, during this particular phase of galactic rotation, during this particular epoch of human technological development, when we finally possess instruments capable of detecting and analyzing interstellar visitors. The statistical probability of an interstellar object passing through our solar system during the brief window of human technological civilization is extraordinarily low when considered against the vast timescales of cosmic evolution. The first interstellar object, Oumuamua, was detected in 2017. The second, Comet-2i Borisov, in 2019. Now 3i Atlas in 2025. 3 interstellar visitors detected within less than a decade. After 4.5 billion years of solar system history, ancient pagan traditions would recognize this pattern immediately. The sudden acceleration of unprecedented events, the rapid succession of cosmic visitors, the sense that something is shifting in the relationship between our solar system and the larger galactic environment. Some modern astronomers have suggested that interstellar objects may actually be relatively common, passing through the inner solar system regularly, but remaining undetected due to the limitations of observational instruments. Only in the past decade have automated survey systems become sophisticated enough to detect these fast-moving visitors against the background of normal solar system objects. From this perspective, the recent detection of multiple interstellar objects represents not an increase in their actual frequency, but an increase in human capacity to perceive what was always there, hidden in the darkness, waiting to be discovered. This interpretation aligns perfectly with ancient mystery teachings, which held that revelation was not the sudden appearance of new truth, but the progressive unveiling of truth that always existed, but remained hidden from unprepared consciousness. The mysteries taught that the cosmos contained layers of meaning, levels of reality, dimensions of truth that became visible only when the observer developed the capacity for perception. The appearance of interstellar visitors in human awareness could be understood as a cosmic scale version of this principle, the universe revealing aspects of itself that were always present, but which humanity could not perceive until reaching the necessary technological and conceptual maturity. The ancient Hermetic axiom that the microcosm reflects the macrocosm suggests another layer of interpretation. If individual human consciousness develops through stages of maturity, progressively perceiving more subtle and complex layers of reality, then perhaps collective human consciousness follows a similar developmental pattern. The sudden ability to detect interstellar objects, to recognize that our solar system is not isolated, but embedded within a galaxy filled with ancient travelers, represents an expansion of collective human awareness, a moment when our species begins to perceive our actual cosmic context, rather than remaining psychologically confined to our local planetary system. Ancient prophecies across multiple traditions spoke of ages of revelation, periods when hidden knowledge would become accessible, when veils would be lifted, when humanity would awaken to truth previously concealed. These prophecies did not generally describe sudden supernatural intervention, but rather described natural processes of cosmic unfolding, moments when the relationship between consciousness and cosmos would shift, allowing new levels of understanding to emerge. The detection of interstellar visitors, the recognition that our solar system is constantly penetrated by ancient objects from deep space, represents exactly such a moment of revelation, exactly such a lifting of veils that allows us to see what was always present but previously invisible. The final phase of any cosmic revelation, according to ancient pagan wisdom, is the return to mystery. The messenger appears, delivers its teaching through presence and symbol, then departs back into the unknown from which it came. This pattern appears throughout mythological traditions. The wandering god who visits mortal realms, then returns to the heavens. The sage who emerges from the wilderness with hidden knowledge, then disappears back into solitude. The vision that illuminates consciousness for a brief moment, then fades back into the unconscious depths. The appearance of Three-Eye Atlas follows this exact archetypal structure. It emerged from the darkness of interstellar space, passed through our solar system revealing unprecedented characteristics, and now continues its journey back into the cosmic void, carrying its secrets with it into regions of space humanity may never reach. Ancient mystery traditions taught that this pattern of appearance, revelation, and departure was not arbitrary but pedagogically necessary. Truth could not be grasped through permanent possession, but only through encounter, through the transformative experience of contact with something beyond ordinary reality. The mystery teachings understood that human consciousness required challenge, disruption, and contact with the unknown in order to evolve beyond its current limitations. The cosmic messenger served this function at a collective level, appearing not to provide comfortable answers, but to pose profound questions, to shatter existing assumptions, to force awareness beyond its previous boundaries. The Greek Eleusinian mysteries, which operated continuously for nearly 2,000 years as the most influential mystery school in the ancient Mediterranean world, structured their initiatory experience around exactly this pattern. The initiate was led through stages of preparation, then experienced a climactic revelation in the inner sanctum of the temple, then emerged back into ordinary life transformed, but unable to speak directly about what had been witnessed. The content of the revelation was not transmitted through words or concepts, but through direct encounter with sacred symbols and ritualized experiences that operated at levels deeper than rational understanding. What the initiate gained was not new information but transformed perception, a capacity to see the ordinary world differently, to recognize the sacred dimensions of reality that had always been present but previously invisible. Ancient sources describe initiates of Eleusis as losing their fear of death, not because they were given philosophical arguments about immortality, but because the experience itself shifted their relationship to existence at a fundamental level. The appearance of cosmic visitors like Three-Eye Atlas operates at a similar scale of impact. It does not provide answers to human questions, but transforms the questions themselves, forcing us to reconceptualize our relationship to the cosmos and our place within galactic reality. The shamanic traditions that appear across virtually all indigenous cultures worldwide understood cosmic revelation as requiring the shaman to journey beyond normal boundaries, to travel to other worlds to encounter beings and forces from outside ordinary reality, then return with knowledge gained through that encounter. The shamanic journey was dangerous precisely because it required the traveler to leave behind the safety of known territory and enter regions where normal rules did not apply, where familiar categories broke down, where consciousness confronted the genuinely alien and unknown. Modern scientific study of interstellar objects represents, in a sense, a collective shamanic journey. Humanity has extended its perception beyond the familiar boundaries of the solar system, has encountered objects from truly alien origins, from regions of space where conditions are radically different from our local environment. These objects carry within their physical composition information about stellar systems and galactic regions we may never directly observe, making them literal messengers from the unknown, carriers of data from realms beyond our reach. The physical characteristics of 3I ATLAS, as revealed through scientific observation, demonstrate precisely this alien quality. Its composition appears to differ from solar system comets, suggesting formation under different chemical and thermal conditions. Its trajectory indicates origin from regions of the galaxy, with different stellar populations and different abundances of heavy elements. Its behavior, including the unprecedented radio emissions detected in October 2025, reveals mechanisms and processes not observed in local cometary bodies. In every measurable way, this object is fundamentally foreign, genuinely alien, coming from outside not just geographically but compositionally, historically, and mechanistically. Ancient pagan cosmologies would recognize this foreignness as sacred, as evidence of the vast diversity of cosmic reality beyond human experience. The Greek concept of the barbaros originally referred not to primitive or inferior peoples, but simply to those who spoke different languages, who came from outside Greek cultural boundaries. This concept expanded in philosophical contexts to include the recognition that reality itself extended far beyond Hellenic conceptual categories, that the cosmos contained forms of being, modes of existence, and types of reality that Greek philosophy could not adequately capture. The pre-Socratic philosophers, particularly Heraclitus and Anaximander, grappled with this recognition, developing concepts like the aperon, the boundless or infinite, to describe the generative source from which all defined forms emerged and to which they eventually returned. Anaximander taught that the cosmos as we know it was merely a temporary structure, carved out from the infinite aperon, and that beyond the boundaries of our ordered world lay endless cosmic potential, regions of reality operating according to principles utterly unlike those familiar to human experience. When we consider that 3I ATLAS originated from regions of the galaxy billions of years older than our solar system, that it traveled through interstellar space for epochs longer than Earth has existed, that it carries within itself chemical and physical records of stellar processes from the ancient galaxy, we are confronting exactly what Anaximander described, evidence of the vast cosmic context within which our familiar solar system is merely a recent and local phenomenon. Our sun is a relatively young star, only 4.5 billion years old in a galaxy that is 13 billion years old. The thick disk region of the Milky Way, from which 3I Atlas likely originated, contains stellar populations that formed when the galaxy itself was young, when the chemical composition of space was different, when the architecture of the galactic disk was still taking shape. The Celtic concept of the salmon of knowledge provides another mythological framework for understanding this encounter with ancient cosmic wisdom. In Irish mythology, the salmon of knowledge lived in a sacred pool and consumed hazelnuts of wisdom that fell from ancient trees surrounding the water. The salmon thus contained within itself all the knowledge and memory of past ages. The one who consumed the salmon gained access to this ancestral wisdom, to knowledge from before their own time, from ages and conditions they had never directly experienced. The arrival of interstellar objects functions as a literal cosmic version of this myth. These objects contain, within their physical structure, actual material from the ancient galaxy, atoms and molecules that formed in stellar environments billions of years ago, that witnessed cosmic conditions modern humans can only study theoretically. When scientists analyze the composition of interstellar visitors, they are quite literally accessing information from epochs beyond human reach, gaining knowledge about cosmic history that exists nowhere in our solar system, that can only be delivered to us through these ancient travelers. The Norse myth of Mimir's well offers yet another parallel. Mimir was a figure of profound wisdom who possessed a well at the base of Yggdrasil, the world tree. The water of this well contained knowledge and memory, but accessing it required sacrifice. Odin sacrificed one of his eyes to drink from Mimir's well, gaining cosmic wisdom but losing ordinary vision in the process. This myth encodes a profound truth about the cost of expanded awareness. Seeing more deeply into cosmic reality requires surrendering comfortable certainties, accepting that previous frameworks of understanding were incomplete or even misleading. The detection of interstellar objects has required exactly such a sacrifice of certainty. For centuries, astronomers assumed our solar system was essentially isolated, that comets and asteroids were remnants from our own planetary formation, that the space between stars was effectively empty on human time scales. The appearance of Oumuamua in 2017 shattered these assumptions, forcing recognition that interstellar space is not empty but filled with ancient travelers, that our solar system is constantly penetrated by objects from other stellar systems, that we have always lived within a galaxy-scale ecology of migrating bodies. We simply lack the perception to detect. Ancient Egyptian cosmology understood the concept of Mat, the principle of cosmic order, truth, and balance. But Mat was not static or permanent. It had to be continuously maintained through ritual, through right action, through conscious alignment with cosmic principles. The Egyptians recognized that order was always threatened by Isfet, chaos and disorder, and that cosmic existence involved an eternal dynamic tension between these principles. Within this framework, certain events represented moments when the boundary between order and chaos became permeable, when the normal structures of reality were challenged or disrupted. The appearance of unprecedented celestial phenomena, particularly objects arriving from beyond normal cosmic boundaries, represented exactly such moments. They were not necessarily catastrophic or negative, but they were liminal, threshold events that forced reassessment of cosmic order, that challenged existing understandings and required integration of new realities into existing frameworks. The Egyptian mysteries taught that such moments were opportunities for transformation, for evolution of consciousness, for expansion of Mat to incorporate wider circles of cosmic reality. The philosophical concept of the sublime, developed most fully by Edmund Burke and Immanuel Kant in the 18th century, but rooted in ancient aesthetic theory, describes the psychological experience of encountering something so vast, so powerful, or so incomprehensible that normal cognitive categories fail. The sublime produces a mixture of awe, terror, and fascination, challenging the boundaries of perception while simultaneously expanding consciousness to accommodate previously unimaginable scales of reality. The recognition that interstellar objects constantly pass through our solar system, that we live within a galaxy containing hundreds of billions of stars and presumably trillions of planetary systems, that cosmic time extends across billions of years, making human history an infinitesimal fraction of galactic evolution, produces exactly this sublime response. We are forced to reconceptualize human significance not as cosmic centrality, but as participation in unimaginably vast processes, as brief sparks of consciousness within a cosmos of incomprehensible age, scale, and complexity. Ancient pagan wisdom traditions understood that this recognition, far from being depressing or nihilistic, was liberating and transformative. The Stoic philosophers taught that understanding our place within cosmic nature produced equanimity, acceptance, and profound peace. The Buddhist traditions taught that recognizing the vast interconnectedness of all phenomena dissolved the illusion of separate selfhood, producing compassion and wisdom. The Taoist sages taught that aligning with the Tao, the cosmic way of nature operating at scales beyond human manipulation, produced effortless action and spontaneous harmony with reality. As Three-Eyed Atlas continues its journey away from our solar system, accelerating as it moves beyond the sun's gravitational influence, it carries with it the mysteries it revealed and the questions it posed. Scientific instruments will track it as long as possible, extracting every available piece of data before it fades beyond detection limits. But even complete physical analysis cannot exhaust its significance. Like all true cosmic messengers, it leaves behind not just information but transformed awareness. Not just data points, but existential questions about humanity's relationship to the galactic environment we inhabit. The ancient pagan truth that was hidden for thousands of years. The truth that cultures across the world encoded into myth, ritual, and sacred teaching was never about specific predictions or literal prophecies. It was something deeper and more profound. The recognition that the cosmos is alive with meaning. That celestial phenomena carry significance beyond mere physical mechanics. That humanity's relationship to the stars is not one of detachment or isolation but of participation and interconnection. The appearance of interstellar visitors in human awareness. The sudden recognition that our solar system is embedded within vast galactic processes, operating across billions of years, represents the collective awakening to cosmic context that mystery traditions always taught would eventually come. The messenger has appeared. The revelation has occurred. Now begins the work of integration, of understanding what it means to live consciously within a galaxy of ancient wonders, of recognizing that we are not alone in cosmic isolation, but participants in processes vastly older and larger than human imagination previously conceived. This is the ancient pagan truth that Three-Eyed Atlas carries with it back into the darkness, that the universe is far stranger, far more ancient, and far more interconnected than our ancestors dared to imagine, and that we are finally developing the tools of perception necessary to see what mystery traditions always taught was hidden in plain sight, waiting for consciousness to mature enough to recognize what was always there.